What's up, guys? It's me, Howking, and welcome back to another video. In this video, as you can see in the thumbnail, we're going to be making this absolutely crazy, ridiculous, probably the most amazing thumbnail by far. So yeah, we're going to go by step of how to actually make this. If you want to follow along, this is a website called, well, it's called Affinity, and they actually bought Canva. If you know what Canva is, you can also get it on your phone as well, which you can actually make your own thumbnail. So for this, we're just going to use the website itself, also known as Affinity. So yeah, this really is, you don't have to really spend any money for this. So yeah, I'm going to show how I actually made this in a new Canva. So yeah, or Canvas, I should say. So first things first, I'm going to go out to File, I'm going to go out to New, and I'm just going to go into my presets. YouTube will always recommend 1280 by 720. As you can see, I have my DPI up to 150, and I have a transparent background for this specific reason. So let's just create the document, and of course, I recommend for a color profile, if you are going to be using this, which is sRGB. It's really useful. You can try the other ones, but really this was the one that I've always used in digital media. So let's create the document. As you can see, it's completely, well, it's just white. So what we're going to do, we're going to change that. We're actually going to make that the same color as we had on that one. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down below into here. There's a pixel layer. We're going to click on this. And immediately, I actually get a layer. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over here to the fill tool, which is G. You can press the keybinds if you want to make your life a lot more easier. So V and G, which is actually the ones that I actually use a lot, and T as well, which actually brings up the text, and the U as well, which we're actually going to do the text first and then work our way up to how I actually made this. So yeah, first things off is actually the background. So as you can see, the background is completely just white. We're actually going to press G, which is our gradient, or the fill tool. We're actually going to click on this right here, or the bottom left right here that says set fill. We're going to click on this. Oops. Double click. Sorry. And now we're going to try. As you can see, I can move this around to a color I want. But you're probably like, nothing's happening. That's because we didn't actually click this layer. Click the layer, and now click on which color. So we have to do that same color. Let's try to do the exact same color. It's a twitch pinkish purple. Let's do it around like right there. Perfect. I'm gonna click off, and now I now have a layer. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna press my U, and on here, on this specific right here, on this rectangle, you can also find a different type, and it's actually not going to be in here. It's actually going to be a rounded. So we're actually going to go into our vector, and in here we want to use the rounded rectangle tool. We're going to click on this, and as you can see, it has the same color. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to go up here and press the select fill none, and do the exact same thing as the other one. To make this a lot more easier on your end, press your X. This will switch back and forth. So we're going to click on this. I'm just going to make this white, like that. And now I'm going to click on my V. And now, as you can see, this is just a white rectangle. Now for the text. For that text, we have Wolvez United YouTube Series Part 1. So let's do that. So we're going to press RT. There's two different things, but for this one, we're just going to use the top one. So, artistic. We're going to drag it until it hits that spot. Now we're going to call it Wolvez United. We're going to do the exact same text. Okay, as you can see, the text is pretty much all around. So we're just going to click off. And we're going to actually click and drag until the text is fully in. But this text looks kind of meh. So we're going to go up here that says arrow, font, family. As you can see, this is changing pretty much almost everything on it. Whoops. We're going to just do impact. I have this saved, but you can pretty much do anything else, really. Actually, I kind of like how this is right here. So, yeah, we're going to do it like this. And we're going to make this just a little more bigger. Like that. And for this right here, I'm actually going to go and change this to a white. Because I'm going to do a different thing. I'm actually going to go down into my layer effects. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go into my outline. And now when I click this, and when I drag this, as you can see, now it actually shows it. I like to do this a lot better than doing that way. Half of the time I will, when I actually have an actual image. So this looks pretty cool. But how did I actually did this? Well, this is where it gets very interesting. I'm going to double click only on this section. And I'm going to go back into my colors. And now I can now change it to that red. Let's do that red. I'm going to close this off. I'm actually going to go back into here. I have YouTube Series Part 1 as a green color. So the last section, highlight, go back into here and go into a green color. Let's do a little more like that. Okay, looks pretty good. So now let's do the other section, how to make a thumbnail. So for that, we're actually just copy and paste it. So we're actually gonna do, press actually shift, click on the other section down below, and we're gonna click on layer. This right here just create the whole entire layer, and now I'm actually just moving this right here instead of me moving both of them. So we're gonna make this just bigger, just for right now. What I'm gonna do is Control C, Control V, and now I have another section of this. I can rename it. So let's go back into here, and let's click on the text, and double click, and let's call it how to make a thumbnail. And now we can go back into the rectangle and just drag it just a little bit like that. And actually see it's all red. Let's go back to our other and let's see how we did it. How to make a thumbnail. So let's do that. First things first, I saw we did a white. So I'm going to highlight this all. I'm going to make this all a white just for my sake. How? Now we have 2. Double click on 2 and drag this into the green section and move this right here into the green. There we go. Now we have a yellow. We're going to drag this right here. Yellow. Like that. Click off. And thumbnail. That's a red. Make this just a little bit, not too much. Try to do exactly as the yellow one. Okay. Now, as you can see, it looks pretty cool, but there's a few things we're actually going to do with this. So for this section right here, in the series. We're going to make this just a little more smaller. I'm going to make this section a little bit more bigger. Let's do it like that. Like that. Now what we're going to do now is to actually do that stroke in the background, that little thing you actually see. So I'm just going to line this up just a little bit more to make this kind of like go into it a little bit. Let's do about that much. Okay. So what we're going to do now is press Shift. And now we're going to make this another group. And now we're going to actually go into the layer effects. We're going to go to outer shadow. And if I put this intensity up, and this offset, you can see right there that that background that I had on that one is actually showing up. This just makes it a little more pop. You can actually put out the radius. So now we're just going to make this kind of like the same. A little more bigger, like that. Well, I'm also going to go up to outline as well. And I'm going to make a little outline around the edges of this just to make it a little more popper. Not too much, just a little bit. Like that. Okay. Now since we have this, we have pretty much done, we're almost there. So what we're going to do now is actually going to add the YouTube logos. So for that, we're going to go into Google. And as you can see, I have it open right here. I'm going to copy and paste. And I'm actually going to go on the edges right here. And I'm going to turn this thing, this notch right here. Turn it sideways like that until it's pretty much like this on the edge. The exact same on that other side. Like that. And now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to lower these down to the group just so it does not affect down below. So now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to press Control and minus to actually zoom out. I'm going to press Control and drag this down a little bit just so I can have a load of the edges of that and just move this just a little more like that. And then slowly but surely make it where I can see it all like that. I'm just going to drag it into on the side of this. I'm going to move this just a little more to the left a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing as this. Press Control, slide it all the way down until I see it, like that. I'm going to move this to a little bit more like that. Okay, almost halfway there actually. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this as a group as well. Do this, make this as a group. There's a few things I actually want to do with this. I'm just going to move this just a little bit so I can actually see it a little bit more better. Now what I'm going to do, let me go into this and we're going to move this just a little more down. Just make it like that. I'm going to click on the group. The layer effects. I'm going to do that. I'm going to actually do the exact same thing as the outer shadow. Do the exact same thing. Intensity and sensitivity up. And I'm just going to move the angle actually to that. Offset. Get that. As you see, it's not doing that thing because I didn't actually click the whole entire layer. So I'm actually going to do like that. Like that. Move the radius just a lot more bigger. Move the outside just like in the middle of this. Now make the radius a little more smaller. Like that. Do an outline as well, just let me just pop up just a little bit, but not too much. Like that. And then make the outside just a little more bigger. Whoops, not a radius. Okay. Do the exact same thing on this side. Okay. Oh, let's make this a little more actually smaller now. All right, so now we're pretty much almost there. What I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to click this full on group itself. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to actually go into the VFX. I'm actually going to go into 3D. As you can see, whoa. So if I just go into the radius, you can see it's starting to turn 3D, which I kind of want to have actually. So when I do this, I'm actually just going to move this just a little bit, not too much. As you can see, it's starting to get a little bit of a shininess. So let me just lower this down just a little bit so that I don't see the little shininess right there. Ambient, this actually just changes up like that. As you can see, to make it down, I want this high. Light source, you can do a bunch of things with this. Ambient, there's a bunch of things you can do with this. About how I'm make this just like really a good 3D. Change the direction of this as well, which will probably be probably around a little bit into it, a little bit into probably to the right side. Right about like that much. Alright, now we have this. I'm probably doing the exact same thing as this. Just pop this up just a little bit more. Not too much. I want that shininess down just a little bit. Work on this light and probably push this just a little bit more to there. Probably like a little bit to that white corner. And just move it slightly into like that. Okay. This is almost all done. I'm going to do another thing as well. I'm going to click on this group. And actually I'm going to go into Pixel. I'm actually going to go down into my Move section. And it's actually a little bit covered, but I'm going to just move this to the side a little bit. It's into my Move, and into here, it's my Perspective. I'm going to click on this. I'm just going to make these a little more popped by moving these things right here. You can also just move the top as well. As you can see, it's moving a little bit. I'm actually going to press Control Z on a few times for that. Oops, Command Z. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back into this layer, the full on thing. I'm going to add an outline, and I'm going to make this a little bit different. I'm actually not going to go to the outline itself. I'm going to add a little bit of a glow. And as you can see, boom. Has a little bit of a glow. And with this as well, I'm actually going to go back and turn off the, go back into here. I'm going to go back into this. I'm actually going to turn off that outline. Is that outer? I think it's the outer, right? The outer. Perfect. Outer, we're probably going to change a little bit. We're not going to have that intensity up just not much. Like that. Let's go back into that. Let's lower that down just a little bit more. Like that. Boom. Now, oops. Let's turn off the outline for that as well. So that looks perfect. That's actually amazing. Look at that. Now it's completely like almost like 3D. We're gonna make sure that this is just under it much. This looks a lot more better, in my personal opinion. Offset just a little bit, not too much. Radius just down just a little bit, just like that, and look at that. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab something in Google as well. Enemy lines. This is how we're actually gonna do something very interesting. So, as you can see, there's a bunch, but I'm gonna pick on this one right here. I'm gonna copy, Command V, and I'm gonna hide all of this for right now. As you can see by the eye, it just gets off. Now I'm just gonna Control, drag, and as you can see, it doesn't look that too well, you know. But what we're gonna do is just make this just the size of it. We're actually gonna go into normal, And now we're just going to go down until I see screen or lightning. I am probably going to do screen. I'm going to add these back. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make another group of this. And now I'm going to make a full-on new group. And now this specific layer can just move by itself, which is pretty dang awesome. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back into here. I am actually going to lower the opacity down just a little bit because that's a little bit too bright. What I'm also going to do as well, let's go about that much. I'm actually going to go into here, go into my live filters, and I'm actually going to go up to my Gaussian blur. And as you can see in the background, it starts to blur a little bit. We kind of actually want to have this so people can actually see this a lot more better. I'm going to press X, and now all we have to do now is the logo. Here we go. Let's drag in the Wolvez United. Wolvez United logo. And let's use Control minus to zoom out to actually make it, so we can actually see the whole entire thing. And make this small real quick. Oh, sorry, disable. Control, and just get it all on the right side of the screen. I'm actually going to use this as my way to see as well, down below on the right side. Let's do that much. What I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to make this as well. Same thing, I'm going to lower down the opacity just a little bit, but as you can see, it's kind of affecting this. I want it down, and whoops, I want this just a little more down so that's not really affecting it. And just go a little bit more high, just a little bit. You can also go into here and just see how much you actually want this, but I don't really touch this with a logo like this. I'm just going to lower it down just a tiny bit, and I'm going to bring back that image. I'm also just going to move this just a little bit. I'm going to go back into these edges and just make it a lot more bigger. I'm also going to go back into my live filters and make this a Gaussian blur as well. So now this background can actually go into more into depth, and now you actually see this as well. As you can see, compared to this one looks a lot more vibrant than that one. That's the whole point of being a thumbnailer for YouTube and stuff. But this is how you actually do stuff. And yeah, I think I pretty much did this pretty quickly, honestly. And I always recommend, if you are gonna add text or anything like that, do not add it right here. Do not add it right here. Try to keep it at least in the center of the whole entire thing. Make this just a little more bigger. And I'm gonna do a little of a curve. Let's do a little of a curve. Why not? Just to drag that in. And that's it. And make sure if you actually want to come back to your thumbnails, press Control S. I recommend you putting this on the desktop, or I would honestly recommend you putting it into your downloads, any place, or have a completely different folder for it, so you can come back to whenever you have to make a new one, or just go back into your file and create a brand new one. And yeah, and and make sure always press Control S here and there on this, because sometimes it will crash. You never know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And to actually export it, you just go to File, Export, and let's do PNG. PNG, just call it thumbnail, save. And that's it. That's how you actually make a thumbnail. Hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, feel free to comment down below if you want us to make a different type of thumbnail, if you want to see how I do it. But yeah, we have some very new things coming into Wolvez United that I can't wait. I really cannot wait for you all to see. It's gonna be pretty interesting. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video over here at Wolvez United. Peace out.